What nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's anime nerdigan live reaction video is going to be for Centaur no Nayami, aka Centaur's Worries, Season 1, Episode 9. So the first part of this episode is an adaptation of Chapter 33 in the manga, where we get to see the smartphone and stuff like that. So for those that are following me, there you go. It's Chapter 33, so let's get to this. So couple things, and I think this is an appropriate time for this episode too, because of all the stuff that's going on with YouTube and whatnot. So you have the ads, of course. Freaking can't stand ads, but before you can actually see the video that they're watching, and the PC gets mentioned again here because Zomi calls the guy a frog guy, and you're not supposed to call him a frat guy. They're called it says amphibian folk in the anime, but it says amphibian in the manga. So I will accept the amphibian folk. So whatever. Let's keep going here. I love Suchan. Suchan's like, if I had to call him anything, it'd be a Frenchman. Oh my god. Hold on, let's see. Oh, yeah, because he's a citizen of France, that's why. Something that I really like that this anime does, and it's done this, I think another time as well, is that when it does flashbacks, I love the quality of the animation. It's like a grainy kind of feel, so it actually feels like a memory. I really like that. I really like this a lot. I'm curious what you guys think. Not a lot of anime does this, but I really like what Centaur no Nayami does with flashbacks. It's really, really cool. The flashback was perfect, and something that was really good about this one compared to like another certain episode is that we actually had some dialogue in here, and it had the newspaper and everything. Oh my god, this was a really well done flashback. And something that I also wanted to mention here is they're saying how they say minority species have always been given a lot of exposure in the media. It's PC culture, what can I tell you? Getting more of the facial expressions that's been missing from this anime. You know, the blank stare, like the weird look where it's just like a slit for the eye, like a vertical slit. Oh my god, I'm so happy that we're getting more of this. Thank you, anime. But yes, every species does have its idiots. It's so true, so true. This episode is so freaking perfect. Like, the animation is so much better this week. Oh my god, last week the animation was terrible. But like, the music has been really good, and it's following the manga like perfectly. I'm very impressed, Centaur no Nayami. Usually Centaur no Nayami has been pretty good when it comes to the manga to anime adaptation stuff, but like this week it's just incredible. It's just like spot on. It is perfect. Oh, the little amphibian kids are really cute, and I like this extra dialogue that we're getting here because we really didn't get that much. We got like we got like this. Oh yeah, okay. So what we did get in the manga, and I really like that they actually talked about it, was you saw these symbols like them communicating in the frog language. So I like that we didn't have to have the visual of it. This time we actually got what it means. So I like this anime. This is good stuff. Oh my god, like this imagery, like when we see those monsters behind the frog guy. Oh my god. It's this man, the animation this week is just so good. And I like the color scheme too, like with the purple and the white background on there for the contrast. Oh man, it's really, really well done. I feel like this chapter, like if you think about it a little bit more, it feels like the frogs. Well, obviously the frogs are like the natives, or you could say that they're natives in different ways. But I think these frogs in particular, they must be in. I'm guessing they're rainforest frogs. Like that's what I'm picking up on, is that they're in the rainforest, and that would make a lot of sense because there's all these isolated tribes in the rainforest, so, even in modern day. So I'm very curious what you guys think, if that's what they're that's what they're going for here. I want to read this quote, like and this was in the anime, but it's just such a powerful for this inner monologue was just really good, and it just makes you think. They're thinking about how you can relate this today. They're throwing their lives away for this reasoning of theirs. If you think about it, you can say that with the Muslims with the jihad, with their jihad and shit. They only want the glory of the past, glory that may never have existed. Because remember, they want to destroy the infidels. The jihadis do. It's the same reasoning that the mammals use, and it will surely destroy us all. See, they're comparing it. I feel like they're comparing themselves to like people like the jihadists and the Taliban and stuff. I honestly feel like that's what's going on here. Because like I gotta mention this. So I know it's getting a little political in here, but like in Europe, what's going on with a lot of the jihadists that are going over there is they want to reestablish the caliphate, their past glory. Because remember, if you know your history, during the Crusades, they took over Europe, and or that was during the I'm sorry, shit. But you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the Crusades is when everything fell apart. But this is what it's just making me think of that. And I think they're kind of not just talking about the jihadists. If you think about that, I think they're talking about like every country that just wants their glory. What's the glory of the past in their own in their own way. Like the U.S., meh, not as much, but like the majority of the other countries around the world, yeah, I could see this quote relating to it. And I like what they did here, which was similar in the manga, where it made it look like it was just him by himself. The coloring choice scheme for this was really nice as well in the background. Hold on a second. Shit. So the first part of this episode was titled "What are the struggles of someone known as a prominent figure?" And this part of the episode was freaking perfect. I got no complaints. I liked the additional stuff they did in this episode. The animation was perfect, music was perfect, dialogue was perfect, all the content was there. It was just perfect. So thank you for Centaur Nayami for doing this episode. Now I gotta go find the next portion of this episode. Just give me a second. So where the second part of the episode is taking place is chapter 49, and this was, I gotta say, like, because this is like kind of like the Nazi Germany aspect of comparison here. I gotta say, this might have been one of the most this should have probably came out. This episode should have came out when this shit in Charlottesville happened. But oh my god, here we go. Let me just make sure that this part was there first. Hold on. So they didn't show the first page of this chapter, but I really like what they did with it showing the bombings and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. But this is what I'm hoping is going to be here. If it's not, then I'm just going to throw it out here because this is kind of important. Once, though our race had many different forms, we were able to live in harmony. We lived in harmony with nature, with races. However, those parasites have infiltrated our ranks, brought hatred among us, and torn us apart. And they have used that for their own gains and grow fat upon it. Now we will return them to their hatred. This episode, I'm telling you, is freaking brutal. Like but I really, if they don't show this speech, I'm gonna be so mad because this relates to what's going on today. It's just scary. And yes, and it is a Hitler guy. The guy is a totally Hitler. I gotta talk about the style how it's being done here. The animation is just so, it's very dark in a way, but it's very very beautiful. And this music is just hitting me right in the feels. If this episode portion of the episode is done correctly, I'm gonna be extremely blown away. But because right now they're taking them to the concentration camps. I know what this is. It's just, oh my god, it's just heartbreaking. I know I'm gonna be picky about this, but I have to. The gates were not done like the manga, but the gates looked a little too nice to me. But that's just me. But you didn't have the name of the camp either. But I'm liking that something that's different that from the manga is that we're getting the characters that are going through this, and they're getting some dialogue, and I really really like it. It's just oh my god, this is just going to be a really interesting. This is going to be really hard. But I'm going to be mad if they censor any of this. I'm already mad that they didn't show the speech. That was freaking stupid. But whatever. This animation, oh my god! When we're seeing the characters in the camps, like you could see how emaciated they are. How they're starving. It's just, I think it's actually drawn better here in the anime than it is in the manga. It's just amazing, and I gotta give you props, Centaur no Nayami. You are not censoring shit this time. I'm I guess it has to be something that the animators or the writers agree with versus what they disagree, or I don't know. I'm very shocked by this because the episode that there was total censorship on, which was about the slavery stuff. I'm surprised they were censored on that, but they're not censored on this. And this is, I will say, is what's going on here is way more brutal. It's just sad. I want to talk about this statement right here, which is, inferior races are always spouting off about your prejudices and jealousy. Oh my god! I know why they're doing this episode this week, or why they're doing this chapter at all, is because of what's going on here with the neo Nazis and shit. It's just, oh my god! This is gonna get even more heartbreaking. Just because I've read this chapter before, it's just extremely sad. I gotta mention this quote because this quote is just so powerful, and it's so true. And this is after they're fighting and stuff, which is this, when the kid says this: "We're the same race and in the same position, but um, until just a little while ago it was all." And then the guy says this, the guy with the glasses: "Until just a little while ago it was all about discriminating against people just by their shape or size. Well, I guess the people who aren't discriminating on the basis of species are doing it on the basis of nation or race." That is so freaking true. It's scary. Like I'm glad they're doing this chapter because this chapter is a very powerful chapter. Oh my god. Let's keep continuing on here. This part was skipped. Even if you're in the same in every way, they'll fight over your clothes. It's just one of humanity's hopeless traits, which was basically here. But I gotta read this whole thing here. Some of it, most of it was in the anime, but I gotta read it because it's just so freaking true, and people need to understand it. There's plenty of it in science fiction, right? Saying that if there weren't different species, the world would be more at peace. But that's just a big joke. People will fight over nationality, race, the color of your hair or skin, your height, your weight, anything. Oh my god, it's so true. It's just part of what he's getting at, is this is just part of human nature. Even if you're the same in every way, they'll fight over your clothes. It's just one of humanity's hopeless traits, which is basically you're gonna be. He said in the anime, it's gonna be there's always gonna be prejudice, and people don't understand that. Like, and I've talked about this on my politics podcast before, is that people like equality sounds nice, but in all reality, it ain't gonna happen because of human nature. Human nature goes against it. It's, well, it may be nice on paper. That's what he's getting at, and I really like that. I love that this chapter is in here. Oh my, this is getting adapted. It's such a good chapter to adapt. So the stuff that I thought was skipped, which was this part, even if you're the same in every way, they'll fight over your clothes. That part was there. I'm sorry. I just want what they did, which I thought was interesting, was they showed a shot of the fight and then went back to the rest of the quote, which I think was really nice. It's so touching when you see the officer give him the leftovers and say, and pretend to beat him up, when he says, and why he does it is just so sad and so sweet. And he even acknowledges he knows he's going to die in this war, but what he says here is, because you seem like a good person and there are good people in this world. Wait, sorry, because you seem like a good person, and as long as there are good people in this world, the world will get better. And I was just like thinking, oh my god, like it's just so sweet, and it's kind of bittersweet because before he acknowledges he's going to die, and he knows he's going to die, but then he says, as he says, as long as there's good people like you, the world is going to be a better place. Yes, and we see as the Liberation Army comes in after all that. We didn't. I'm kind of disappointed. It kind of feels censored in a way that we didn't get to see the noose around the Centaur's neck, but I'm gonna allow it. I'll be okay with it. But it's just I wish they would have shown the whole thing, but it's okay. It's just it just shows you that he was right. I have a little problem with the line work of the feathers or of the wings of the kid. Like they should have been a little bit more busted looking, and it's not. And the feathers should have been flowing a little bit more. But like it just because if you look at the page 16, you see how like busted looking the wings look and stuff, and the feathers are just like you see a lot more details in the feathers, and that's just not. The animation kind of screwed up on that. I don't know why they're having problems with line work and detail like that for texture, like texturized detail, I should say. But I don't understand. This is just the second week it's been in a row that this has happened. But whatever. This soldier is so sweet. This was Skip. He's skin and bones. Was Skip, and he didn't mention that he would go to Montana with him, but that's where the homeland is Montana. Um, I thought that's just so sweet, and you see where that how that kid grew up to be. He grew up to be the president of the company that met Mr. Russo in the previous episode. And you can understand it makes sense for his all of his ideals make complete sense. And the second part of this episode was titled "What is the life of someone known as a prominent figure like?" And I gotta say, this episode was so good and it was so powerful, especially the last portion of it. And I liked how we did the order of it too. This was just perfect. This was good stuff anime this week. Centaur no Nayami, you are starting to step it up. I hope that for the rest of the season, I hope we keep getting more of the powerful chapters that are in this manga adapted, like like the second portion of this episode specifically. But I'm curious what you guys thought about this episode. This episode is definitely one of my favorites this season. It was done really, really well, and the two chapters that they chose were perfect. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. If you love what I'm doing and want to contribute to my channel expansion, there's a few ways you can do that. You can donate to my PayPal, my Patreon, or purchase something off my Amazon wishlist. All that's in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Follow my Twitch channel, find me on PlayStation Network. All that's in the description box below as well. Till next time, Nerdigans, I'll be seeing you later. Bye!